Come on. Y'all. So for those of you who are members of our Black Utopia, hello, Utopians.
Hello, hello.
We were just chatting, and y'all know that we were running a bit late. And now we are going live 10 minutes late, y'all. We're so sorry. We're having technical difficulties, and our guest is having problems logging in. And so for the Utopians who were on our behind the scenes chitty chat, they know when Rick left and was leaving to make sure that our guest could log in properly. But oh well. All right, so we're going to get started. What we wanted to talk about today with our guest, but we'll see if she's able to log back in. But what we wanted to talk about is, when is it too late? When is it too late to move abroad? When is it too late to change your life? When is it too late to make a 180? When is it too late?
It's never too late as long as you on this side of
the ground. That's what Joe Vincent would say. That's what my daddy would say. Until you're 6 feet under, it's never too late. It depends on you. What you think, what your mindset is, what your health is. And don't you know? So I was talking to our youngest earlier today. And he was like, Mom, I need you to work out more. I need you to lift weights more. I need you to eat healthier because, I need you around for a long time. I'm like, So for what? To be your safety net? No. Because you want to fellowship with me and build, a more adult relationship with me. Okay, sure.
Did he get his passport yet?
He hasn't. It hasn't arrived yet.
But he went to get it.
He got it. Yeah. He yeah. So he did apply. I told you that. He applied and he did all the things he was supposed to do. So he's got his application in, and hopefully the melon felon will not say no, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, so yeah, the question that we are going to talk about today is, when is it too late, and is it too late? And then if our guest is not able to log back in, we'll have some Q&A, some ask us anything stuff, and we'll let y'all go. One of the things, wait.
We're going to introduce ourselves.
Yes. Hey, y'all. My name's Salisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and life abroad. We help folks that look like us, who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan, get their money straight so that they can retire on time, or maybe even abroad.
Abroad and early. Early is good and broad is even better.
I think abroad is the best. Yeah. And it's easier to do early if you do abroad. So, all right, sweetheart. So today we're going to talk about, we were going to talk about black women moving abroad solo and 60 plus moving abroad. Like, when is it too late? Right. So we might have to have her on next week. What do y'all think? Because I want to have a full, robust conversation. And the person that we are supposed to have on, we came to our very first
meetup. Yeah.
April 2022. See, this is the thing, because I want to take some credit for this. Okay? Because baby girl was living in Ecuador for a minute, right?
Yeah.
For months, right?
Yeah.
And now she's coming to Portugal and seeking her Portuguese residency. And I think Portugal was always one of the one of the plan A's lists, right? Like, I think this was on her plan A list. And so, yeah, She is on her way here and on her way to getting residency and all of that. And she is 60 plus and she's doing it solo, y'all. So for all of those folks who say that they cannot do it solo, and it's interesting to me because men never say that. Have you ever heard a man say that?
No.
No, men never say that. It's only women. It's only women. And what we are here to tell you is that life for women is not as scary outside of the United States as it is in the United States. Right. Now, don't get up in our comments talking about, yeah, but what about the Congo? Yeah, but what about, we ain't talking about them places. We are talking about places where Americans would want to move to. And so we're talking about a Mexico, a Portugal. And yes, we know that there is human trafficking worldwide. We know that. But when it comes to just general security, general safety, et cetera, right? Like just the normal stuff, because ain't nobody trying to human traffic no 60-year-old woman. For what?
I hope not.
For what?
Mm-hmm.
Us.
Hey, if folks buy feet pics.
Did he say, Did he say, I don't know.
If folks buy feet pics.
Buying feet, right? Like buying
you
feet
got some
pics.
freaky people.
We got some freaky people out there, but buying feet pics is a lot different than human trafficking and senior citizens.
This is true. No,
right?
I wouldn't say that at all. But I'm just saying, you got crazy.
But that don't mean that senior citizen women ain't sexy.
Oh, they are.
We
sexy.
Ain't talking about that, right? Because human trafficking is never about that. It's about power and control.
You got it going on, girl.
Thank you, sweetheart.
I'm just saying.
Thank you, sweetheart. But it was never about that, right? Like it's always about power, control, and profit, right? It's disgusting, it's evil, it's yucky, and so let's just call it spade a spade. But what these people doing? What are they doing?
I got this weird thing going on in my ear right here. Feedback.
Oh, I don't hear any feedback. So it's interesting to me because the two biggest questions that we always get is number one, well, there's three. One, am I too old? And this is not in any order. One, am I too old? Number two, but I'm single. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to come from a woman.
Yes.
Right? And 3, will I be accepted there? What else? What other question? Oh. And will I be accepted there? On par is, yeah, but what about the healthcare? Right?
Yes.
But what about the healthcare? And so as far as the healthcare is concerned,
I think you find better healthcare in a lot of places that won't make you go broke than in the United States.
Yeah. So as far as the cost of healthcare, it's less expensive outside of the United States. As far as the quality of healthcare, there are a lot of places that are better than the United States. There are, last I checked, at least 31 countries that are better than the United States, right? Because wasn't it number 32?
Mm-hmm.
So cost, give me a break. But here's the deal. Here's the difference. And this is interesting because I'm going through my annual exams right now. And for those of you who have been watching for a minute, y'all know this. I had a battery of exams, and there's at least 2 to 3 exams that I would not have had in the United States. And they have identified 2 issues that they're concerned about, and they want to do further tests. And these are not tests that would have been compulsory in the United States. So then the question is, and I'm going to ask my doctor this when I go back to talk to her, was there any other way that these issues could have been caught? Right. And so, and if not, then I'm going to go back and tell y'all what, at least from a female point of view, what y'all are not getting that you should be, that the screenings that you should be getting to make sure that you can catch things early enough to nip it in the bud. Because that's what we're trying to do here. That's what we're trying to do. So I love this. So let's see. One source says, one of my good friends is Mexican. She hasn't been to Mexico in over 30 years because of the cartel. Oh, why are Black people flocking to Mexico so quickly? They come to the US for a better life. Who's they? One source.
Yeah, there's a lot of Mexican people in Mexico that ain't thinking about coming to the United States.
Who's they?
And they're not in the cartel.
Who's they? There are 1 million American citizens that are residents of Mexico. 1 million. 1 million. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Mexico has the most American immigrants of any other country on the whole planet. Now, why would you think that is? Why would Americans be flocking to Mexico? What do they know that your friend who ain't been to Mexico in over 30 years, like what do they know that she doesn't?
And that's
or he doesn't?
that I was going to ask that question. I understand your friend is Mexican, but when did they leave Mexico? Have they ever been to Mexico?
30 years
where
ago.
in Mexico did they go?
And where does their family live? Like if they've still got family in Mexico that they're communicating with, where do they live? And if they live in a border town, then I understand why she has the opinion that she has, right? But if they live in other places, like the usual suspects. Here we go: Lake Chapala, San Miguel de Allende, right? Querétaro, even Tulum, right? Like it, or Merida, right? Like, do they live in any of those places? Because there was a time when folks didn't want to live in New Orleans because it was the murder capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time when people did not want to live on the south side of Chicago because that was the murder capital of the world. There was a time when people would not even go to downtown Manhattan where all the plays are unless they were directly going to a play, but they would not walk around because that was the murder capital of the world. And yet, and the mafia has been operating wholeheartedly in New York and Chicago my entire life. And probably other cities that we just don't even know about. But why don't we know about it? Because it's the mafia. Because I'm not involved in drug dealing.
Hey, I ain't in their business.
And they ain't in mine. And because I have not purchased a business that may be in competition with one of the mafia's businesses, right? And so, the mafia has a lot more legit businesses than I know that the cartel has. Now, I might be mistaken about that. I'm just going by hearsay. And as far as I know, it's drugs and avocados, okay? And I don't have no avocado farm, and I'm not dealing drugs. So,
it's always best to check it out for yourself. I understand people want to enlighten you on different things, but it's always good to see for yourself because you'll be surprised.
No, people don't want to enlighten. They want to prove how much they know and how much you don't know.
I was being nice.
Oh, okay. They want to prove how much they know and you don't know. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. So, all right. Let's go back and see what's going on in the chat. Okay. So talking about, is it too late? There was one other thing that I wanted to bring up. And that is, we've got to retire faster. Black folks, we've got to retire faster. Waiting until we're 65, waiting until we're 67 or 70 is not good. It's not a good look. Now, Rick did that because we didn't know any better. And now that we know better, we're telling you. The best option is to try and retire at least by the time you're 55.
Sooner is better than later.
Sooner is always better than later. Because why? Why do I say that? It is because there's like young old, and I consider us young old, even though I'm having a hot flash right
I am not old.
now.
I am
so
vintaged
so there's young old,
in vintage.
and then there's old old. And young old is what we consider like 50 plus, right? Where you still have your health, right? You still have mobility, right? You've still got all of these things going on, and you can do the things that you want to do without a lot of um, physical exertion and or mishaps, right? But once you start getting 65 plus and you're starting to think about retirement at 67, 70, 75, it gets a little bit more difficult. Now, do we say that that is too late? No.
No.
No. One, it depends on the person. And two, no, just no. We're never going to make a blanket statement like that. We're never going to make a blanket. We know people who have moved here at 70 and 70 plus.
80.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Homeboy was 80, right? He was 80.
He is. Not past tense. He is 80.
That's
He's
right.
80 plus.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And so, yeah, it's never too late. It is definitely never too late. But are you moving right now with a sense of urgency? Are you moving right now with a sense of urgency? Do you have a plan? And like I think Action VJ just put um, the Move Abroad Toolkit in the chat. So for those of you, look at the chat, the Move Abroad Toolkit. Do you have a plan? We were talking to someone yesterday. Was it yesterday or maybe the day before? I don't remember. I don't know. We had a one-on-one coaching call in the last day or so. I think that was just yesterday.
That was yesterday.
And the whole thing was when we were looking, she was looking at her finances and she was not as clear on her finances as she needed to be. Am I lying?
It's always important for you to know more about your finances than anybody else.
Exactly. So she was not as clear on her finances as we needed her to be. She was in a lot better place than she thought she was. So, which is also a reason to know where you're at. But the thing that got me, the thing is that she thought that, or she decided that, let me hide this right quick because I do want to respond to that. She decided that it was going to take her another 3 to 5 years to retire. And she decided that without doing the math. She decided that without doing the math. Now, how do you do that? All right. So what we want for you in this first 18 minutes, what we want for you is to get out of Dodge ASAP. What we want for you is to change your mindset and not think that if you are of a certain age or if you haven't done A, B, and C by X, Y, and Z time frame, that it is too late for you. What we want you to think about is the fact that things may be easier to get under control outside of the United States.
Okay.
That's what we want. That's what we want. All right. So we're going to see if our guest can hear us and we can hear her. Look, it's funny because we were walking yesterday down in Parque das Nações and tripping over these sidewalks. Okay, so Greta says, the other Greta says, in my Spanish class, there's a woman who is 80 years young. 80 years young, that just moved to Panama. All right. Right. All right. Let's see.
Hey, Phyllis, can you hear us? She disappeared.
And she disappeared again. We might have to do this next week with her. Okay. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to plan for this for next week. And then what we will do for the next 20 minutes is we will take questions from you. So, as a matter of fact, let's do this. I'm going to give you guys, if you want to ask us questions live, I will put.
We'll put the link in and you can join us on screen.
Yeah. But now, you got to make sure that your mic works and all of that. Okay. But anyway, all right. So we'll go ahead and take some questions. I'm excited. I'm excited. We've got 97 people coming to, I was about to say Colorado, coming to Lisbon for our meetup, y'all. Just in case. 97 people.
Just in case what?
I was blocking you drinking your wine. 97 people.
I'm in Portugal.
Yeah, we drink wine in Portugal.
We drink lots of wine in Portugal.
We're so excited. So we've got so many things planned for y'all. It's basically starting, I think, on the 11th or the 12th, the Thursday before our meetup with St. Anthony's Day, and then Margarita Friday, and then we're going to have a brunch Saturday, and then there's a Juneteenth celebration on Sunday, and then Monday is the meetup, Tuesday is the meetup, Wednesday, folks have planned to do an African food tour here in Lisbon. Thursday is Juneteenth, and it looks like we might be doing rum and tickles, right? Action VJ. So we're getting that straight. So for all of you who are coming, rum and tickles is only 20 people. So it's going to be the first 20. So y'all got to be paying attention, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all got to be paying attention. It's going to be the first 20. And rum and tickles. So for those of you who are thinking about coming to visit the Lisbon metro area, rum and tickles is, I'm not going to even call it a restaurant, but it is a curated Jamaican experience with a Jamaican chef who, it's served family style, and he does it. I'm not even sure he does it every Saturday. I'm not even sure. But all I know is 20 to 25 people have to pay in advance. And what happens is you get there and you're served rum punch.
Yeah, rum punch. You got rum cake with rum in it. You got rum.
And then,
oh my Lord.
Right?
And the food is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Amazing.
And the rum punch is like 100 proof or something crazy like that.
It'll knock you out. It'll sneak up on you.
Something crazy.
Sneaks up on you.
Right? But the food is good and the dessert is lovely. They he rotates around the desserts and this and that and the other. And it's one fixed price. So we're going to do that on the Thursday. And then I think there's people in the WhatsApp group that are doing something else. Look, y'all, there's a lot going on. If you are not a part of it, why? Why not? Why not? And if you want to come next year, we always do it the Monday and Tuesday around Juneteenth. Okay. So this year it's June 16th and 17th. So every year that's when we do it. All right. We've got a couple of people in. Well, no, we have one person. Hey there.
Hey there. You're muted.
I had to mute because you're on my TV as well.
Oh God.
So
let's on the TV.
I usually I type with my tablet and cast with the TV.
Okay. Okay, I get you. I get you. That means you can see all the flaws and all the stuff.
What was
You're
he?
already beautiful, Halisi. So that
Oh,
ain't
you're such a
nothing.
sweetheart. You're such a sweetheart. So what's going on?
Question. I was wondering, I didn't get the notification in time to do the last um side hustle challenge. I budget everything and I was wondering how much are we looking at to pay for this challenge this time around?
And you know what? I've got everything set up and I forgot to grab the link. It's €1 97, 197 euros.
Okay, that'll be affordable. That's
So,
affordable.
so um I'm going to go to grab it. Our Black Utopia. Let's see, one sec. Because there it is. The Gific. Oops. Okay, here it is. I'm going to grab it. Boom. Okay, I'm putting it in the chat. Y'all, we're launching our next side hustle challenge. So thank you, Lee,
Bring it up.
for reminding, because girl, I totally forgot. We've been trying to get our guest, and so focused in on trying to get our guest technical difficulties handled that we did not even, we've totally forgot, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. But
Okay,
there it is.
right there it is. There it is. Okay, so I just put it in the chat, y'all, and we're only taking 25 people.
I
Instead
better
of,
get that early.
so if you need, if money is the thing that is keeping you stuck, if money is the reason why you have not fast forwarded your move abroad plans, we've got an answer for you. And that answer is get another income stream. So Rick and I developed another income stream because we knew that we were going to be living off of one Social Security check for 5 years. And so we developed another income stream because y'all know we're late bloomers when it comes to the financial independence world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have Beyond the Bling, which is our financial independence program. And that information is in the description below. But sometimes you need some more money. It's not just about like managing your money well and cutting some expenses and this and that. Sometimes you just need to bring in more cash. And if that's you, or you're one of those people who are like, you know what, there is no way on God's green earth I can retire and just do nothing. I need something. I want to do something.
Right.
Then this could be the challenge for you. This is our side hustle challenge. Everything that Rick and I have learned to go from 0 to 81,000 subscribers and a business that surpasses his Social Security.
$300, $400, $500, $1,000 more a month that you can bring in makes a big difference.
We've had months where we've gotten $9,000 checks just from YouTube, y'all.
Yeah,
He's talking about 300.
I'm being very, very
in the early days. Yes, 2, 3, 400. But I'm telling you what the potential is. I'm telling you what the potential is.
Right.
Okay.
Heck, I'll be happy with $2,000 a month.
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't want to put a big number out there because it takes time to build, but I'm just saying, $300 extra a month, added to what you're already bringing in, this makes a difference.
$300 a month is what we had when we had 1,000 subscribers.
Okay. That's
I just
awesome.
want to put it in perspective.
I mean, the sky's the limit.
The sky is the limit, and it totally depends on what you're talking about, how often you drop videos and everything else, right? But the side hustle challenge is not about building a YouTube channel. It is about creating another income stream in the form of a small business. Okay. And
Gotcha.
so this is for everybody. We will take you from idea to launch in 10 weeks. The first time we did it in 5 days. The next time we did it in 5 weeks. And we heard feedback from the 5-week people that they needed a bit more time.
Right.
And so this time we're taking 2 weeks for each module.
Okay. I
Two
see the
weeks for each
module.
module. And so the modules are self-paced, and then your assignments will be due every other week. And we'll
Okay.
meet on Saturdays.
Mhm.
At what time? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't
Not
know
a
yet.
problem. Well, that was my only question because I can't meet y'all at the meetup this year, but hopefully
Okay.
next time.
Maybe next year.
Awesome.
And we launch obviously it was going to have to be after the meetup, but it's the
Mhm.
second week in July.
Gotcha.
And we'll release the materials the first week in July.
Gotcha. Thank you. I'm gonna go.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Amy.
See ya.
Hey, LaRonda.
Hey, LaRonda, the house sitter.
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, baby.
Hello.
There you go.
I hope nobody else can see me. I was just about to start plucking the hairs out of my out of my
Yeah,
chin.
everybody can see you.
We can see you. Everybody can see you live,
Oh,
baby.
I just got on. I haven't used StreamYard before, so I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to join the chat, but that's not working. So,
Yeah,
but
it's a little bit more difficult when you're a guest.
yeah. Oh, you guys froze up.
Oh. Okay,
Oh,
y'all. She didn't freeze, so let us know if you can still hear us. You good, LaRonda?
yeah, I can hear you, and you guys are not frozen now.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
yeah, I don't have anything to say. I just wanted to get on and stay in the company of all of my fellow utopians.
All
I
right.
love it. I love it.
Awesome.
So what are your plans?
Well, I have been just slowly getting rid of junk and just figuring out when to leave, when to get out of here, when to, what. I'm just kind of still kind of all over the place right now and just slowly getting rid of stuff. Um, I've got my Portuguese bank account that I keep funding, and so I'm ready to go. It's just a matter of finding the place. Hmm. Okay, something weird is happening. Something's happening right now. I don't know what. Interesting. Hmm. I don't know. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Thank you for holding it down, LaRonda.
No, no problem.
So we're gonna have to talk to our landlord because he upgraded our router and service when we were in Thailand. So that was before the holidays. And we have not had good internet since. The freeze ups and all of this stuff even though we're plugged in, like Rick is plugged in back there in the office, I'm now in our bedroom, which is where I did our behind the scenes. So sorry, the lighting's bad. I've got a light here, but you know, it yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. So let's hear what's going on.
Well, what's going on with me is the same old thing, the housing issue. Um, and then I'm also looking at some other places to do some slow traveling. And the whole process of getting out of here for me has been frustrating because of the housing. So I've reverted back to my original plan, which was to slow travel. And then I know there's several countries I can go and stay for 12 months without a visa or 6 months without a visa, and then 90 days. So I kind of have a plan in my head of how I'm going to rotate places to spend the most amount of time outside of the United States as possible before I have to come back and renew my passport. I got 2 years left on it. And just trying to decide if I'm going to do English tutoring for side money. I really would rather stay retired, but with the way the economy is and things going on, I keep cutting. It seems like every month I'm cutting more and more into my financial cushion because everything is just so expensive. And just I'm really really close. I feel like I'm close. It's just a matter of emotionally letting go of this place that I have because I really love this place and it's really cheap for this area. And I know that once I leave, I won't be able to come back. And I think that's kind of
Are you
scary in a
are you
little
leasing or buying?
renting. I'm a renter.
Can is there any way you can sublease?
No. Um, well, no,
Hold
but
on, hold on, hold on. Exactly. Is it a one bedroom or a two bedroom?
it's one bedroom. I know that if I could find a renter to take my place, I can be here whenever I need to. So I know I could do that if it's somebody I know. Um, what's scary is just thinking that everything is always way more scary than it actually is when you're thinking about it in your head. Because I know that once I left here and got situated doing whatever I'm doing, I would never look back. But I've been in
And
this.
that's the thing,
It's getting started. It's getting going.
right? Okay, y'all. I'm talking to LaRonda, but I'm talking to everybody. And Rick is trying to get our studio back up in the meantime. But and I look, I was putting on makeup here. And LaRonda, how many times have you been homeless?
One time for a very brief 2 weeks, and
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 where
it
did you?
actually
And where were you? Were you on the streets? Did you?
no
What?
no actually a friend of mine paid for me for a hotel for 2 weeks, and I found a place to live. Um, not like almost it wasn't quite 2 weeks. It's probably like 10 or 11 days, and then I found a
Mhm,
place and I was fine. And that
mhm.
is that's used to be like a big nightmare, big fear for me. But I don't fear that anymore because I know that I know how I could live if I had to live in my car. So that fear is gone. I just see that as being a lot of work that I don't want to do. So I like things to go as smoothly as possible. So whatever transition I make from here, I want to be able to smoothly transition to the next thing. Um,
Mhm.
I'm not afraid of being homeless because and also I'm older. When I was homeless for like that brief time, I was in my 20s, and
Oh,
I was really scared.
that barely counts.
But now I'm in my 60s, and I know I just I'm just more secure and confident just as a person in general.
And
So
that's why I asked the question,
I know I'll
because
be
had you said you were that okay, Rick, I'm hearing echo.
Hold on.
But had you said that you had been homeless 2 years ago, or houseless, I'm not going to say homeless,
right.
houseless two
I'm
years
happy.
ago.
That's Was that your wine? I hope that wasn't your wine.
Yeah, it was.
Moving too fast. Moving too fast.
Well, as
Yep.
long as you got another glass, that's okay. And if you don't have another glass, drink it out of the bottle.
We've got more glasses. We've got plenty of glasses. It's not about that. But let's go ahead and I'm going to take Rick off screen. And the reason why there was echo is because it was coming from him. So let's go ahead. Dennis, you know we love you and we thank you for always contributing to the community. So every super thanks, not now, sweetheart, every super thanks, super chat, super sticker donation goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That is our financial independence program for late bloomers. And Dennis every single week donates. And I have not seen an email lately. If I've missed it, send it again, asking for a scholarship. So Dennis writes, in my 20s, someone told me don't fall for the scam of waiting to travel and retire at 65 plus. I wish, Dennis, oh my gosh, I wish that someone had said that to me.
I had friends who always traveled. Right after high school, they were traveling all over the place. I've always known people who've traveled all forever, but I just never thought until I hit my 50s that I could actually do it. And even though I've been wanting to do it all that time,
Right.
all those years.
Right. And
For-
me too. And me too. And
Ooh.
this is what we deal with. And for a while, right, I just couldn't afford it. Let's just be honest, right? Let's just be honest. For a while, I just couldn't even afford it. But when I could, I made excuses in my brain for why I couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? And I regret that. I regret that so much. It's interesting because one of my mentors, I don't know, some people may know her on this channel. Her name is Stephanie Perry, and she was fortunate enough to run into some Chads back in the day, some young white boys.
I remember the story. I remember her talking about that.
Right? Exactly. So for those of you who do not know, basically, she was taking the typical American vacation in Brazil for Carnival, and some white boys who she had befriended said, "Okay, so where are you going next?" And she's like, "I'm going home. It's been a week. I'm going home." And they're like, "Going home? What? You came all the way down here just for a week? What are we doing?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, and and she's like, "Well, how are you all able to travel around and travel around and travel around?" And the bottom line is, and then I'm going to get to the last part of what Dennis is talking about. The bottom line is, and this is the thing when it comes to financial independence, etc. And we know this, but we have different definitions on what this means. And that is live within your means.
You know, I think
Live within your means.
I always say life is very cruel in its irony, because the best time to do so many things, travel, get an education, work hard, have children, all of those things, the best time to do them is when you're young and maybe not so smart and maybe not able to make the best decisions. The best, that's the best time. But the time that you're most prepared and wiser and more intelligent is when you're old and you can't have
Exactly.
kids anymore. And you may not
Right.
always be able to do all the traveling and do all the stuff. So it's like, it's a cruel irony.
It
And I think,
really is.
and I think
And
about
that's why
that
they
a lot.
say youth is wasted on the young,
And I think about that a lot. And I'm like, ah, man.
right? Youth is wasted on the young. And so Dennis says, doesn't make sense to waste youthful years. Do things when you're healthy and mobile,
And poor.
right?
But you can make it work.
You
I
can make it. I mean, you may not be able to do it, do the Ritz-Carlton cruise, right?
I can't do it
But
now.
that doesn't mean that you cannot, and you don't necessarily have to do the backpack route either to do it affordably. And that's the thing. Like when we were young, we didn't have access to the information to know that we didn't have to do the backpack route, that there was a in between thing where you could, even, and maybe backpacking meant staying at hostels
You know,
and in dorms.
when I worked in law enforcement, I worked with two guys who traveled all the time, and they worked part time, because what they did was they would work as much as they could for that, to get that 960 hours in, and then they have the whole rest of the year, the fiscal year, off and travel. And I remember asking one of them, I said, why wouldn't you just work this job and work till you retire and then travel? He said, I don't effing want to do this for a living. He goes, I just need the money. He said, I just do this part time and make as much money as I can. He said, and then I leave. He goes, I'm not even thinking about this place. He goes, and then when it's time to come home, he goes, when I'm almost out of money, I just come back. He goes, and then I can start working again. He goes, and I just haul ass and get those 960 hours. And then I just go
And I'm
somewhere else.
out.
He goes,
Now, I would
I'm not gonna kill myself
I,
doing the job.
right? I agree with that 100%, except now that I've been on this side of the road, and this is for everybody, some of that money would be set aside for future me when I didn't want to kick butt to do that 960 hours. Because what are you going to do when you don't want to do that anymore? And it sounds like he doesn't have a plan.
He
Or maybe
actually
he does.
he actually, the last time he left, he just didn't come back. He quit. So that was one of them. And then another one would just, he would work and travel, work and travel. And then he ended up getting sick. So he was forced to retire. But a lot of the guys I worked with in law enforcement, the ones who weren't thinking about a career, they just saw it as a money, easy. They saw it as money, easy money to do whatever they wanted. I worked with one guy, he was building a real estate business. So he worked graveyard shifts. And when he built
Right.
his business, he left. And I was like, and I was working part time. I was like, you know what? This, it was never going to be a career for me. I just needed money for college. But it was probably the worst, hands down job, best paying, worst, most stressful career I ever worked in. And I was so stressed out that they forced me to retire. They actually, I was seeing therapists, and my therapist was like, why
See?
in hell are you still there? I was like, because I got a kid to feed. If it was just me, it wouldn't matter. And they were like trying to get me to retire. And I was like, just one more year. and one more year to be like, okay, just next year I'll do it. I'm almost there. I just need one more year. One more year did for 4 years before finally my job said, you cannot come back here. You can't come back. So that's how I ended up getting my retirement. And I was only 30. Only 30.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
I think when you're young and travel, you focus more on the experience of travel versus when you're older and looking for the same comfort
right.
zone experience as when you are at home.
Right. I like stability. The idea of something not being stable makes me nervous.
You're stable. That's the stability.
Right. But I don't always think of it like that. And I know I'll be fine, and making it work is what I do. I know that.
Right.
But now I'm
Right.
older, I'm like, ugh, this is so much damn work. I got to do this. It's
Oh,
like,
don't think it's hard. Okay,
it is.
so I'm gonna let our guest on stage, but I'm gonna tell her we got to reschedule, Phyllis. We've got to reschedule because we got to do a whole thing and get your whole story.
Well, first of all, thank you for everybody else who stepped up and came on. I have been fighting with this laptop and my phone. I'm on my phone right now, and I'm guessing you can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I was trying for like more than an hour to get in here.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with rescheduling. So I just wanted to
So
at least get on
if
here
you are,
and say hello.
you have been such a saint, y'all. She has been going out, in and out, in and out, in and out of the backstage since at least 15 minutes before we were supposed to go live.
You know, I'm very technologically challenged, so I actually did get on at like 3:08 East Coast time to try to check in, and it was showing everything was working until time came to go live. So, but I'm glad I did make it, and I do appreciate
Yeah.
everybody else who stepped up to fill in. And I'm okay with rescheduling whatever's good for you. But if there's anything I can share with you now, I'm more than happy to do that as well.
We appreciate that. So next week we will
Thank you.
talk to
Thank
Phyllis.
you.
If Phyllis is available next weekend.
I will be.
And you don't have to give
flying
you don't have to give us the answer now. Just go ahead and text us as when you're available next. Because
Okay.
Phyllis has lived in Ecuador and is on her way to get residency in Portugal, y'all. All right. And so we need to talk to her because there have been so many single women of a certain age. And when I say of a certain age, to me, that means 50 plus that say, yeah, but, right. And if you are a yeah, but person, moving abroad may not be the move for you.
Yeah, don't
And
be a
if you're yeah, but Halisi, you've got a husband. Yeah, but Halisi, y'all bringing in two salaries. No, we're not. Not at first, at least. We just had the one Social Security check, y'all. Two people living off of one Social Security check and some savings. So let's not get it twisted. And, it's just been in the last, we monetized our channel within 3 months. And we're, as Rick was saying earlier, bringing in a few $100,000, I wish, a few $100 a month for a minute there, y'all, for a minute there. So I'm telling you, we're being transparent and telling you all of this to let you know that it is not impossible for you to do this move abroad. Okay. It is not impossible. So I want everybody to give Phyllis her flowers. We were going to give her bunches of flowers when she comes on
I
next.
know. I feel so bad. I really feel
Don't
so
worry
bad.
about it.
No,
These are
we appreciate you.
these are the things that happen. These are the things that happen. So if you're thinking about, like, for the side hustle challenge, we told y'all we are launching the second week in July. I have put a link in the chat, and let me see if I can grab it again. I will put another link in the chat. And because we're only taking 25 people. only taking 25 people. So if making money is your thing, if that's the thing that you need, then you want to sign up for the Side Hustle Challenge. That's what you need to do. All right. If you are technologically challenged, it might be an issue for you. If you are technologically challenged and like not figuring out your audio on StreamYard is not necessarily technologically challenged. I mean, if you don't know how to use Google Translate, if you don't know how to load apps onto your phone and use navigation and all of that kind of stuff, right? Like if all of those things, if you don't know how to use WhatsApp and I don't want to put nothing on my phone, if that's you, the abroad life is not for you, babies. It's not for you. It's not for you. Am I lying?
No,
No.
LaRonda, Phyllis, am I
Pardon?
lying? Ricky?
we just have to fight through it. The system kept telling me to go into there and go into my Google Chrome, and I did that. And I went all the way back to, where you start at the beginning to make sure everything is allowed. I did all of that. And finally, I restarted my phone and it just started working.
Okay.
So, it happens. But like I said, luckily there were lots of others to step up, and I do appreciate that.
We should know when it's time to leave.
Yeah, I knew.
Because they
I,
have harassed and harangued us to the point where we want to pull out our hair and or beat somebody up. When we to the point when we want to like start fighting, it's time to go, y'all.
Right.
Now, LaRonda, I'm not sure that that was you, but I'm just saying when you get, because I've been there, it's time to go. It's not worth it.
I
And
always,
don't think that you cannot find another job because you can, if
I knew
that's what you
could
want to.
do.
I knew it
I
was
could give
time
you a
to
quick
go,
story.
but I was a single parent. I wanted that money for college, so I didn't have a bunch of debt. I there was so many reasons why I didn't leave, but I always knew I was going to leave. But then it started affecting my health. And then I just started just lashing out and just being really hard to work with. And and then just fighting with supervisors all the time. And they just
Then
really
my attitude got in the way because y'all was getting on
right.
my last nerve.
Exactly, exactly. And then so I feel like I was really lucky too because I would just do and say just whatever, and then they just like we'll just put her up in a tower so people don't have to deal with her, and she doesn't have to deal with other people. So, but then in a tower you got all these weapons and all this ammunition, so they knew I was stressed out, but they weren't that worried about it apparently. But so I knew, and my therapists that I saw were really, I mean, they were really like irritated with me. They're like, why? You have to get out of there. This is not good for your health, and it's not good for your daughter to see you being like this. But
That part.
they really pushed it. They really pushed it, particularly the female therapist that I had. She would actually get pissed at stuff that I would tell her. And she was like, she goes, I'm gonna get you out of there. She goes, you have to leave out of there.
How-
And
Was that therapist? Was she black?
no, she was white actually. White lady.
Yeah,
Feisty.
right. It's the white ones.
Feisty.
It's the white ones who don't put up with no stuff. Like just like with Rashida, it was a white therapist who's like, They said what to you, and you said wait, and you dealt like you put up with that, and she was like,
Yeah,
because we do what we have to do, right?
both of them were white. And this the
They'll
lady
tell you.
she was like no, she goes, you can find another job. I'm like, but I live in this area and I need to make this much money just to get by. And then I got my daughter, and she was like, no, she goes, I'm gonna do what I can to get you out of there. And I was literally, I would say I was just absolutely effing crazy at work. And then they got those reports from those therapists. They're like, you have to go. You cannot
So
be
for
here.
anyone who is listening,
Yeah. But now,
for
the
any
person I
one
am
sec,
now,
LaRonda, one sec, LaRonda, for anyone who is listening, I want you to hear her story. And I want you to think about if there are any similarities, however small, of your own situation. And think about what you could be doing differently to get up out of Dodge. Because the bottom line is the system, the structure was never meant for us.
and it will
And
kill you.
that's why we have, well-meaning white folks who want to, be therapists for us and this and that and the other, and they're listening to what we're going through. They don't understand why we're putting up what we putting up with, because they would never put up with that, because it would never occur to them to put up with
Right.
that.
Right. And
Well,
the
I can
system,
agree.
it's just, it's like a double-edged sword for the experience. The experience was good in that it taught me just about the law enforcement system in general. It's a no-win system. Whether you're caught up in it on the wrong side or whether you're working for the way that it's structured, it is a no-win system. You are screwed if you're on the good guy side. You are screwed if you're on the bad guy side. You are screwed exceptionally badly if you don't understand how the system even works at all, whatever side you're on. It's very
Mm.
stressful. I don't recommend it to anybody. But I was 23, and I was like, you know what, this is a job I can do for 5 years. These are the things I'm going to do, then I'll be out. But then you get in it, and the money is good. The
And it
money
gets
is good.
comfortable.
The money is good.
The bennies.
You don't have to pinch your pennies at the grocery store. Excellent benefits. And you look at that retirement and you're like, you know what? Maybe I can make it to 50. And then I can retire at 50, and I'm making all this good money in retirement. And I don't have to promote if I don't want to. I can just be down here at the bottom and be an officer till I'm 50, and then get out and be making 70, 80, 90,000 a year, you know, in retirement. But then it took me about 4 years to go, I got to get out of here. This is not working for me. I can't stand this job. I can't stand these people. I can't stand this whole system is messed up. You know,
You know, I have to say, first of
it's
all, I want to give a shout out to Kenneth. So, shout out to Kenneth. I've always loved to travel, he writes, but I have never been more certain I want my family to explore living outside the US. I've always loved to travel, he writes, but I have never been more certain I want my family. I'm gonna mute the other folks who are on, and then I'm gonna run and get my headphones as we wrap this up. But anyway, okay, Rick's gonna bring them to me. You might want to bring me something to drink too. But I have never been more certain I want my family to explore living outside the US. I wouldn't have even considered Portugal as an option if it wasn't for our Black Utopia. Oh, thank you, Rick and Halisi. You're very welcome. And look, we would not have considered Portugal if it wasn't for our rich journey. And I just got to give a shout out on our YouTube page. We have, if you look on our YouTube homepage, y'all, we show the channels that changed our lives. Okay, and thank you, sweetheart. And our rich journey is number one. And the reason why they're number one is because they introduced us to the FIRE movement. Okay, he brought me these old ones. The other people who are on our channels that changed our life are Adelia Borshade, Picky Girl Travels, Rashida Dow. Rashida Dow used to be Sheeta's on the Loose. Of course, Stephanie Perry's channel, the Yarbros. And that may be it. That may be it. And then we have channels that helped us in our journey. And we've got some other folks mentioned with
I'm
that.
gonna give you a plastic cup this time.
I didn't break that. You did.
I know.
He's giving me a plastic, y'all. You see what he did? Now, I didn't break the cup. He brought the cup in here. And then he went to, because he could hear the echo, he went to close the door, and he's got so much of his robes and crap on our door that they swung around and knocked the cup off. But I got to pay the price with the plastic cup. Like this is back in college days. It might as well be red.
And it was thick
And, where,
plastic though. That's a good plastic cup.
and where's the bonfire? Plus, this wine's too expensive to be in a plastic cup. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So thank you, Kenneth. We really, really appreciate that.
Thank you, Kenneth.
And I wanted to take that second to just give a shout out to the folks who have come before us. We always talk about the shoulders that we stand on, and you know, politicians will always do that, and they'll talk about, you know, the Shirley Chisholms of the world and things like that. Well, you know, in this whole move abroad trend, there are other folks who came before us, and I definitely always want to give our folks their props, because the bottom line is truly, we would not be in Portugal if it wasn't for Christina and Aman of Our Rich Journey. We would not be abroad. We would not have been abroad in 2022 if it wasn't for Rashida Dow, Stephanie Perry, and Adelia Borshade, because Christina and Aman were in their 40s. Well, they're still in their 40s, but we're in their early 40s when we ran into them. We were in our 50s, and it's like, yeah, that's nice, but y'all 10, 15 years younger than us, you know, blah, blah, whoop-de-woo, right? That's what we were saying. But that doesn't mean what they were saying was invalid. It was just like, we ain't got that much time. We ain't got that much time. That's what we were saying. And we don't need to live large like y'all living large. We just need to get the hell out of Dodge. That's what we need. Right, Phyllis? And so then when we found what I call the CDMX crew, that is, you know, Stephanie, Rashida, and Adelia, they started showing us a way to do it that was not like fat fire, PHAT, fat fire, where you're living large, where it's like, oh, wait a minute, all I got to do is, and then when I started looking back at what we learned with Our Rich Journey, it's like, oh, okay. So there's two ways to calculate fire. There is, the one way is the cash flow method, and then the other way is expenses times 25. Okay. But I have to remember, and this is the thing that they taught me, is that the, you know, $89,000 that we needed or whatever to live like we wanted to live in Denver is, we don't need that much money abroad. So that number gets to come down precipitously. And even though I knew that based upon what Christina and Aman were saying in their budget at the time, because at the time they were living off of $40,000 a year, y'all, and the rent was $2,500. And so that's what I wanted to tell LaRonda when she was talking about the rents, is that in a lot of these places, what you will find is that the rent is going to be disproportionately expensive. And it's especially going to be disproportionately expensive for expats. Okay. And so you need to go there to see what the prices are. We can give you the databases. There was, somebody who was asking about how do you figure out how much money you need or something like that. The budget. Wait, where was that question? Let me see. This format. Thank you, Protect Privacy. It's so helpful to hear experiences and perspectives of people still sorting out like me. Yeah, we all still sorting it out, Protect Privacy, to be perfectly honest. None of us know really what's going on. Okay, I'm just going to start marking some of these things, but I want to find that question, toxic work environments. I want to find the question about budgeting. Okay, it was before Kenneth. Sorry, y'all. So, Karen Louise's girlfriend, you were always so positive. I just love you. I just love you. You are always so positive. And see, I'm getting tears. Yeah, the challenge group coaching is always going to stay on the weekend. That's what I will say. It's always going to stay on the weekend, because otherwise people won't be able to come. And I'm not going to stay up until 12 o'clock midnight until y'all get off work in California. That's what's not going to happen. So yeah, jobs ain't stable or loyal. I just gotta let go. Yeah, that's true, Carnita. Okay, where is that question? That's sad. Okay, it's before this one, before that one. Oh, is that it? Oh, there it is, Ladybug. Any tips for researching countries for people who have dietary restrictions? Oh, that was the thing, dietary restrictions. Okay, so let's talk about researching countries in general, because getting back to the money thing, if your issue is money, you don't know how much money you need until you know how much it's going to cost to live there. And as I was saying, at that time, this was like 2019, 2020, Our Rich Journey was talking about their budget was about $40,000 per year. They had 2 kids. They still have 2 kids, but they had 2 kids in private school, and they were paying $2,500 a month for rent. That's the only thing that I remember. And still their budget was $40,000 a year. So what that told me is, okay, rent is out of control because housing is an issue. That's a physical thing. And housing has been an issue globally, especially due to COVID, because we had 2.5 years where building housing just stopped. And then for some countries like the United States, we hadn't been investing in building like we had been previously. And so because of the Great Recession, right? And so we've got the Great Recession, and then we're trying to catch up with housing, and then COVID hits. And that puts us behind again. Okay. And so that's why we have the housing crisis that we have today. And that's why it is global. Now, the fact that people don't know that and voted in the melon felon because of it, I don't know what to say about that. Anyway, say all that to say, they're paying $2,500 a month for rent, but their budget still was only $40,000. So what that told me was, okay, well, we don't have a family of 4. We have a family of 2. So we don't need that big of an apartment. So if we can cut that part of the budget in half, right? The housing budget in half. And of course, everything else will come down as well, as far as food and stuff like that, because we ain't feeding as many people. 40,000 is poverty in Denver. 40,000 for a family of 4 is poverty level. They would qualify for food stamps and everything else in Denver. So what that told me is we can afford to do this life abroad. That's what that told me. Right? That's what that told me. And so when we started researching countries, we looked in, if you've got our Ready to Retire toolkit, that's in the description below, or if you have our Move Abroad toolkit, that again is in our description below. We mentioned 2 databases in those toolkits, and those databases will give you access not only to cost of living, but also to some other social factors that may be important for you. Okay. And so when we started looking at places, we put in our criteria, our cost of living, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it pulled up, like in the Earth Awaits, all of the cities that would meet our criteria within the continents that we said we were willing to live in. I don't know what dietary restrictions you have, Ladybug. Oh, besides gluten. I have not visited a country that did not have restaurants that had gluten-free items on the menu. That's number one. Number two, I also know a lot of folks who are gluten intolerant in the United States because of the GMO crap that they do to our food. And then they mistakenly, or just because they want that cupcake, try something or other, some baked goods or something outside of the United States, and they're like, oh, I'm okay. This feels okay. So, Ladybug, what you might find is that you are not gluten intolerant outside of the United States. But either way it goes, whether it be Thailand, Singapore, South Africa, Mexico, where else have we been? Any of the European countries that we've been to, we have never gone to a place. And I take note for questions like this, and because of my friends, right? I've never gone to a city and not seen vegan and gluten-free and things marked with their little icons, like gluten-free might be a little
Right.
star and vegan might be a little vegetable or something like that, right? On the menu. Never. So the notion that the United States has something that nobody else has is a lie. It's propaganda and it's a lie. 100%. Okay. It's a lie. So don't believe it. Don't believe it. There is nothing. The only thing in the United States that you will not get anywhere else are mass shootings on a regular basis and school shootings on a regular basis. That's what the United States has that nobody else has.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and you'd be surprised that half the things you think you're allergic to, when you come to Europe and have that same type of thing, you find out that you're not allergic to it because they, you know, different ingredients, different things that aren't allowed here that are allowed in the United States. So there's a
Exactly.
lot of people who will come over here that I couldn't eat bread or I couldn't drink the milk or whatever because I'm allergic to it. Then they come to Europe and try it, and it's like, oh, it didn't affect me that way anymore because it doesn't have the same stuff in it.
Exactly.
Be
Exactly.
surprised. You really would be surprised.
Exactly. We know someone who had to be vegan in the United States in order to maintain her health. And when they came here, that couple started slowly reintroducing some meat products. And none of the old symptoms of that illness have showed back up. So, they're poisoning y'all in the United States. That's what they're doing. And I have to say, when I was in the States, 90% of the food that I ate came from the side of the road, from Mexicans on the side of the road in LA. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know
Literally.
exactly where you were.
No, not just at that place. Not just at that place. There was a place near the hospital where my dad passed away.
Oh,
There's a place that's on the way to where the assisted living is, right? These food trucks and stuff like that, where I know that they're getting fresh meats and stuff like that. And I didn't get sick because the last time I was there for my aunt, I did get sick. I did get sick eating that food. So anyway, all right, y'all. So y'all know we were supposed to be talking to Phyllis. She is here, but she's had technical difficulties and it's already been an hour. And so we're going to invite her back because we want to show her her flowers and give her the proper respect that she deserves for the journey that she has taken. And we want you all to be able to hear her story in its entirety and also to be able to understand how she went from point A to point B. So for all of you who are out there, and especially Black women who think that you are too old to do this thing, You see Phyllis shaking her head no. Okay. For all of you Black women who think that you can't do it because you don't have a spouse or a partner, you see Phyllis shaking her head no. Okay. And let me tell you, if for some reason I had never met Rick and I had gotten in my craw that this is what I wanted to do, I'd have done it. And I wouldn't have let no man stand in my way. And if I were a man, I wouldn't let no woman stand in my way. I just wouldn't, right? I just wouldn't. And so you need, like, doing this move abroad thing, you got to know yourself and you've got to know what you are capable of and what you are able to do. That's what you've got to know. And if you know that you know that you know that you have the ability to figure stuff out, then you don't have to worry about it. I'm a home health nurse who is highly considering moving abroad. Okay, Tanya. Ghana is at the top of my list. Any suggestions? I don't know what you mean by any suggestions, but
Do your research.
Well, yeah. If you can do telehealth, that's a way to take American money to a lower cost of living. Understand that from what I have researched, Ghana is not going to be easy. In other words, this is not a soft landing. It's a soft landing when it comes to racism and classism, because any American is thought of to be rich, and that in lies the problem. There's the problem right there, because once they figure out that you've got money, then you become a walking wallet. There's ways around that, Tanya, and I don't want you to take Ghana off your list, but I want you to be aware of some of the. I don't want you to walk in with rose tinted glasses. Okay, so you want, and this is for everybody, write a list of needs and wants now, not after you get there or after you leave, because see, you're going to go to a place and you're going to look around and you're like, I'm not in the minority anymore, baby. Look it, I'm blending in. Ghana's nice, right? I'm one of the crowd. Ooh, and these men looking at me. Yeah, baby. But you're not living, you're on vacation, right? And so you want to make sure that you can live in a place. And vacationing in a place and living in a place are two totally different things. And so if you don't mind haggling, if you don't mind having to do under the table stuff and this is that and the other, because these are the kinds of things that you're going to have to deal with, and these kinds of transactions that are marked by developing countries. You look very young, but I'm too old, and I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not. So Ghana is going to be on our visit list and not on our live list, because I'm too old for that. I want the soft life. I want a life of ease, baby, a life of ease. And as far as Africa is concerned, I'm not sure if Ghana is a life of ease place. I'm not sure. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I'm not sure.
Just do your research on it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if you can talk to people from there, that's even better.
Oh yeah, do your research. Look up the YouTubers. There's a few prolific YouTubers that are in Ghana, and as long as they're not selling you something, talk to them and see if they'll give you we'll tell you what the deal is with Portugal. Like, we understand that Portugal is not for everybody. We understand that. Like right now, our visas have expired and we're fighting with the immigration. We're not fighting with them, but we're fighting to get into immigration, I should say, so that we can get this thing renewed. Right? Like, look, and this is not giving me who was that? Tanya, this is not giving me life of ease vibes right now. But here's the thing. This is what I do know. I know that I don't have to pay somebody off to get it renewed. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but I know I don't have to pay anybody off to jump the line or this or that or the other. All I have to do is say, see, we've got this, scheduled trip and go through there are processes in place to allow you. And a lot of these developing countries are still, still got some stuff going on. All right. So we as Americans have been programmed to think, we can't do differently, but as Black Americans, we must look beyond the view we've had. Absolutely, Sherry's praise list. Absolutely. All right. Carnita, toxic work environments ain't no different than toxic relationships. No, they're not. The stress will kill you. Yes. It's true. It's true. And when you think about the fact that we're probably at work more than we're in the toxic environment with any partner or something, right? Work is 40 hours a week. Half the time we're at home, we're asleep. She sounds like me. I've already started looking. Y'all, start looking for these other jobs, because these jobs are not loyal. They don't care. And they want you to think that you are not brilliant enough to find something else. They want you to think that you are so overqualified that you won't find something else that pays just as well. And we know that that's a lie. White folks be job skipping every 6 to 2 years since I've known them, and they always get a raise in pay. Meanwhile, we're staying, being loyal, gonna stick it out, and this is that and the other, because we're afraid. Don't operate out of fear. And as Rick always says, don't let desperation be your motivation. You just took my thing off, so I need you to stop doing that. I don't know what you took off. Anyway, I'm going to put this back up. I will be launching my challenge, and I need to understand how to monetize my channel within 3 months. Okay, Wanda, well, you need to sign up for the Side Hustle Challenge. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. And we will teach you how we monetized our channel in 3 months, because we certainly cannot do it in the limited amount of time that we have on our live. But we do have live streams that we have talked about how we've done that. So if you don't want to pay the money and you just want to go back and look at our lives, go back to the playlist that is Getting Your Money Straight. And all the side hustle stuff is under the Get Your Money Straight playlist. Watch those, and you don't have to pay the money. If you want help with that and you want direct advice, then the Side Hustle Challenge is the way that you want to roll. And with that, we're going to let y'all go. Anything else, y'all? Anything that you want to say, Phyllis? You're going to be coming back to visit with us at your earliest convenience. Hopefully, yes. Unmute yourself.
Yes, I will certainly be more than happy to do that.
Yay, yay. Because people want to hear your story, and we want to hear your story. So we definitely want to have you back. So just shoot us a text or an email. You know how to get in contact with us. And I'm sorry that you had so many technical difficulties. I know that it can be frustrating, but know that it's all good.
I just wanted you to know that in my heart, I was there.
There
We
you
know.
go. There you go. So members, thank you, Action VJ. And thank you, Rick, for putting that up there. And we're going to take you off screen, Phyllis, and you're going to send us an email and let us know when you can join us for the whole thing. And we'll get on early and make sure everything's working in advance. Okay. Even if we need to do that a day early. So she's backstage, but she can hear us. So here's the deal. I'm not going to shut up about what's going on in the United States. I'm not going to shut up about what the melon felon is doing. I will not obey in advance. I will not submit to tyranny. I will not capitulate. I will not. I've had folks tell me, you need to calm down, Halisi. Right. And now that I'm looking over all of the clippings from my dad's life, there is no way on God's green earth that I am going to calm down. There is no way on God's green earth that I'm not going to shut up, that I'm going to shut up. That would be that would just be like disrespecting his legacy. And I'm not going to do that. Y'all know I was raised by Sister Soldier and Malcolm X. Y'all know that. So I'm not going to shut up. And so what does that mean? That means that there's no guarantee that we can continue bringing this information to you. There is no guarantee that we can continue telling you how the United States is trying to cheat you out of what you deserve, how they're trying to screw with you, and how you can change your situation. So that is why we launched the membership to Our Black Utopia. Those who are members to Our Black Utopia get behind the scenes every Sunday with us, and we chitty chat on Zoom. Everybody's cameras open, and everybody has access. And then those who are urban legends also get to come on with us live, just like we had a few folks on today, which was not the plan. But every other Thursday is our Utopian Legend Thursday, and those Utopian Legends get to come on those Thursdays. I think I said urban legend again. It's Utopian Legend.
You did. Utopian legend.
It's Utopian Legends. All right. So that is our membership program. And then if you want to join our side hustle challenge, like I said, we're only allowing 25 folks in there. Why? Why only 25? Because we go over every single assignment and give feedback. And that's a lot of work, y'all. And I'm just not trying to do that for 30, 40, 50 people. I'm just not. All right. So, so it's open to 25 people. And there is the link. We are launching mid-July, right? Mid-July. Right, Carnita? Nah, we ain't calming down. We standing up. We are standing up. And thank you, Black Butterfly, for becoming a member. Yay, yay, yay.
Thank you. Thank you.
We need to
Yeah.
have a sound effect. We need to have a sound effect like, boop, boop, you know, like those horns in South Africa. Boop, boop, boop.
Okay.
So anyway, all right, y'all. We love you. We're going to let you go. It is now 10:15 here in Lisbon, Portugal. I've got my plastic cup. And we will see you on Thursday. I have no idea what we're talking about. If you have some ideas, if you've got a question, so every other Thursday, so one Thursday is Utopian Legend Thursday. The other Thursday is Thursday Short, where we answer a question from you. So if you have a question that you want us to answer on a Thursday Short, send us an email. hello@ourblackutopia.com. hello@ourblackutopia.com. If you have more questions, you need help with your financial plan, and you don't want to do Beyond the Bling, which is our financial independence program, we've got one-on-one coaching. That information is in the description below. We've got a bunch of free resources. Those are in the description below as well. And so with that, we will see you on Thursday. All right, y'all. Thank you for hanging with us through all of the technical difficulties. See you on Thursday.